Welcome back again to Hollow Nose Hoops. Eurobasket has been absolutely electric so far. We've seen some crazy upsets, some crazy superstar performances and some unforgettable moments, and now we're down to the quarter-finals where the pressure is higher than ever. In this video I'll be breaking down my predictions for each matchup, giving you my thoughts on who's moving on and why. Let's get into it. Before we jump into the quarter-finals, let's quickly revisit my round of 16 predictions. I got 5 out of 8 correct. Not bad, though there were definitely some surprises along the way. No one really expected Georgia to come through against France. Finland against Serbia, definitely an upset. I could have seen it coming, but I didn't think it was going to happen. I just thought Finland were going to keep it tight. And then the other one I got wrong was Lithuania against Latvia. I thought Latvia were going to have enough on the perimeter. I didn't think they were going to be so heavily reliant on Porzingis getting the ball down low. And obviously Porzingis had 34 points and 19 rebounds. He played very well. But yeah, it just wasn't enough. I think Lithuania fired on all cylinders. I wasn't expecting Arnas Velička to play like Jokubaitis. That was a big part of the reason why I wasn't favouring Lithuania in that matchup. And then the rest of them I got correct, right? Greece against Israel, Turkey against Sweden, Poland against Bosnia, Germany against Portugal, Slovenia against Italy. Alright, with that out of the way, let's focus on the final 8. Let's start with Turkey versus Poland. On the surface, Turkey come in as the clear favourites. They've got the bigger names, more NBA level talent and a higher ceiling overall. But for being honest, their round of 16 game against Sweden wasn't exactly convincing. They had stretches where they lost focus, turned the ball over too easily and gave Sweden way too many open looks. That type of inconsistency makes me think Poland could be more dangerous than people expect. Poland are one of those teams that thrive on discipline and chemistry. They're not going to blow anyone away with star power, but they play together, they know their roles, and they've got a couple of guys who can get hot at the right time, especially Jordan Lloyd. We saw his scoring pop off again in the round of 16 against Bosnia. Mateusz Panitka had a double-double. He's the do-it-all leader. If Turkey give them the same kind of openings they gave Sweden, Poland could absolutely hang around and make this interesting. But here's the thing. I still think Turkey just have too much firepower. Alperen Şengün is the big difference maker in this matchup. His ability to dominate inside with his post scoring while also creating looks for his teammates as a playmaker, most of which will be 3-pointers or, easy cuts, is something Poland simply doesn't have an answer for. And when you add in Turkey's perimeter weapons, Shane Larkin pushing the pace, Cedi Osman providing spacing and versatility, they match up really well against Poland's guards and wings. And at the end of the day, Poland are tough, they're well coached, and they might keep it close early, but I think over 4 quarters, Turkey's talent level is going to shine through. My pick is that Turkey will advance to the semi-finals of Eurobasket 2025. Next up, we've got a heavyweight battle, Lithuania versus Greece. What makes this matchup so fascinating is that both nations are in a very similar position right now. They've each got incredibly passionate fan bases, rich basketball traditions, and a real hunger to get back to the podium after many years of falling short. The expectations are sky high on both ends, which means the pressure is just as high. Now, of course, the headline here is Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's going to be unguardable no matter who Lithuania throws at him. His ability to attack the rim, run the floor and draw fouls is unmatched in this tournament. And now he's hitting mid-ranges. But on the other end, you could say the exact same thing about Jonas Valanciunas. He's a load in the post, and the only guy strong enough to really bang with him is Giannis himself. That creates a fascinating dilemma for Greece. Do they actually put Giannis on Valanciunas and risk him picking up fouls, very quickly and early in the game? If they do, their entire game plan could unravel early. Because of that, I think this game is really going to come down to the role players. We know Giannis and Valanciunas are going to do their thing, but the supporting casts are what will decide it. For Greece, guys like Slukas, Papanikolaou, and maybe even some of their younger players are going to need to step up and hit shots, especially Mitoglou. For Lithuania, while I don't expect Arnas Velička or Davidas Servidas to repeat their incredible performances against Latvia, their overall unit just feels deeper and more balanced. They've got multiple shooters, they've got toughness, and they play really well off of Valanciunas' inside presence. So while this one's going to be ridiculously tight, I wouldn't be surprised if it comes down to, the final possessions, maybe even a final shot. I'm going to give the edge to Lithuania. I think the collective strength and depth will just about get them through to the semi-finals, and I do think their coaching staff prepares better for these kind of matchups. I think they will have some kind of answer for Giannis and Greece. Now let's talk about what might be the most surprising quarterfinal matchup of them all, Finland versus Georgia. Honestly, the fact that one of these teams is guaranteed a spot in the semi-finals is just wild. Both nations pulled off massive upsets in their round of 16 and both deserve a ton of credit for getting here. Georgia's win over France was huge and they showed a lot of heart on both ends of the floor, but let's also be real. France played one of their worst games in recent memory. They missed open shots, they lacked composure, and it just wasn't the front we usually see. Georgia took full advantage, but I don't think they'll be able to rely on that same kind of collapse from Finland, because if we look at Finland, their performance in the round of 16 was no fluke. They were firing on all cylinders, spacing the floor beautifully, and playing with a rhythm that's hard to slow down once they get going. Larry Markkinen is obviously the centerpiece, but the supporting cast was locked in too, and that collective energy really makes them dangerous. I'll say this, Georgia probably have a slight physical edge in this matchup that they can definitely go to. They've got the size, the toughness, and they can punish you inside if you let them control the paint. But to me, Finland's offensive floor just looks stronger right now. If they keep playing at the level they showed in their last game, hitting shots, pushing the pace, and trusting their ball movement, I think Georgia's incredible run is going to come to an end here. So my pick is going to be Finland advancing to the semifinals, and honestly, just saying that shows how unpredictable and exciting this Eurobasket has been so far. The final quarter-final matchup is going to be a blockbuster showdown between Germany and Slovenia. On paper, Germany have looked like one of the top teams in the tournament all throughout the group stage, and obviously in the round of 16 they still did beat Portugal by 27 points. However, that game against Portugal showed us something important. They're not an unbeatable juggernaut. Their outside shooting really let them down, and for stretches they looked surprisingly vulnerable, even trailing at halftime. That should give Slovenia some confidence heading into this one. And of course, the main storyline here is going to be Luka Doncic. He's been carrying the Slovenian team on his back, and I think we're in for another monster performance. I'm talking 40 plus points again, creating everything and keeping them alive possession after possession. Luka has that ability to single-handedly bend the game, and Germany are going to have their hands full trying to contain him. But here's where the difference comes in. Germany are just so much deeper. They can beat you in a variety of ways, whether it's Schroeder orchestrating the offense, Franz Wagner creating mismatches, Tyson Voigtman holding down the paint, or even, stepping out and stretching the floor. Even their role players stepping up to hit key shots. They don't need one guy to do everything, and that flexibility makes them really tough to break down across 4 quarters. So yes, I think Luka will keep Slovenia in this game all the way to the finish, but ultimately Germany's depth and versatility are going to be too much. My pick is that Germany will advance to the semi-finals. So just to quickly recap my quarterfinal picks, I've got Turkey edging out Poland behind the dominance of Alperen Şengün and their strong perimeter play. I've got Lithuania squeaking past Greece in what I think will be a ridiculously tight game thanks to their depth and balanced supporting cast around Valanciunas. I see Finland ending Georgia's dream run with their offensive flow and momentum carrying them into the next round. And finally, I'm picking Germany to outlast Luka Doncic and Slovenia with their depth and versatility proving to be the difference. That leaves us with 2 amazing semi-final matchups, Lithuania versus Turkey on one side and Germany versus Finland on the other. If those games actually play out, we're in for some absolutely entertaining basketball with star power, depth and passionate fan bases all colliding on the biggest stage of the tournament so far. And that's going to wrap up my Eurobasket quarterfinal predictions. Do you agree with my picks, or do you see some upsets on the horizon? Drop your predictions in the comments. I'd love to see what you all think. If you enjoyed the breakdown, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more basketball content, and stay tuned because I'll be covering the semi-finals as well as the finals, and even maybe some post-Eurobasket content too. This is Holo Knows Hoops. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.